I'm here with the Association of African Universities Television, AUTV. I just want to say that without the media, you won't know what's going on in the world. Even with the media, you sometimes don't know what's going on in the world. So you need to tune in to the reliable sources who are really on the front lines, who can give you the information you need and give you facts, not conjecture, give you real news, not fake news. And this is the place to find it, AUTV.
The voice of higher education in Africa.
It's 12 o'clock GMT and you're welcome to the AAU TV Midweek News Week, coming to you live from the headquarters of the Association of African Universities. Now to our headlines for today. In higher education, Kumasi Technical University hosts German university leaders to boost academic tides. In health, Pandemiton 2026 sparks new hope for African-led vaccines. Now, business story: Nigeria's crude export to U.S. plunge as rivals gain market shares. International Russian oil tanker reaches Cuba amid easing U.S. stance. Please stay with us for more news on the AAU TV Midweek News. My name is Jemima Delademdochi. Welcome back from the break, and now to our news in detail. The University of Environment and Sustainable Development in Ghana's Eastern region has admitted 421 new students for the 2025-2026 academic year. The matriculation ceremony, led by Pro-Vice-Chancellor Professor Edward Wiafe Deborah, emphasized the university's focus on tackling environmental and development challenges. The institution is urging students to commit to knowledge, integrity, and societal impact as it prepares them through a blend of theory, research, and practical engagement to address real-world problems in a rapidly changing environment. At a matriculation ceremony in the Eastern region, university authorities welcomed the fresh students and outlined expectations for the academic journey. The Pro-Vice-Chancellor explained that the institution is grounded in addressing both global and national challenges. He indicated that the students are being trained not only as learners, but as future problem solvers for Ghana and the wider world. He noted that the university operates on three core pillars: environment, sustainability, and development, positioning it uniquely within Ghana's higher education landscape. The registrar administered the oath to the student, who include both undergraduate and postgraduate cohort. Addressing the matriculant, the Pro-Vice-Chancellor urged them to commit to knowledge, integrity, and serve to society. He explained that their education would combine theory with practice, innovation with responsibility, and include fieldwork, research, and community engagement. He further stated that academic qualifications alone are no longer sufficient, adding that competence, creativity, and character are now essential for success. He encouraged students to focus on building skills, maintaining integrity, and striving for meaningful impact beyond examination. The chairman of the University Council also highlighted the institution's mandate to address pressing global challenges, including climate change, food security, and social inequality. He described the students' admission as a beginning of higher responsibility. A representative of the student assured university management of their commitment to their studies and future goals. The university says it aims to produce graduates equipped to lead and innovate in an increasingly complex world. Moving on, Kumasi Technical University in Ghana has hosted a delegation of 21 German university leaders as part of a week-long visit organized by the German Academic Exchange Service. The visit aims to strengthen academic cooperation between Ghanaian and German institutions through partnerships in research, student exchange, and capacity building. University officials say the engagement will enhance innovation, expand global collaboration, and position KSTU as a hub for internationally relevant education and research. The German university leaders, made up of president, vice president, and provost from various German institutions, are in Ghana for a week-long visit organized by the German Academic Exchange Service. The visit provides an opportunity for direct engagement between university leaders, policymakers, and partner institutions, with a focus on expanding collaboration in higher education. The Vice-Chancellor of the university welcomed the delegation and reaffirmed the institution's commitment to internationalization and strategic partnerships. He highlighted key areas of cooperation, including joint research, staff and student exchange, training programs, and scholarships. The Dean of International Affairs presented the university's academic programs and global partnerships, outlining its readiness to expand its international reach. Discussions during the visit focused on strengthening research systems and addressing critical global and local challenges through collaboration. University leaders also indicated plans to establish a dedicated research institute to drive innovation and support industry-focused solutions. As part of the visit, the delegation toured the Adako Jagi campus, including newly developed facilities such as the Faculty of Creative Art and Technology block and the AFIC International Laboratory. They also engaged with faculty leaders to explore practical areas for academic and research collaborations. The German Academic Exchange Service, which supports international academic exchange, continues to promote partnership between Germany and institutions worldwide. University officials say the visit marks a significant step in positioning the institution as a center for global relevance research, innovation, and technical education. In health, African scientists and higher education institutions are taking bold steps towards homegrown health solutions through Pandemiton 2026, a Pan-African vaccine innovation initiative led by AfriVax Ghana Limited. The second session, held at Nnamdi Azikiwe University in Nigeria from 23rd to 28th March 2026, focused on a practical approach in developing context-specific responses to Mpox.
The Pandemiton 2026 initiative, led by the AfriVax Ghana, is positioning African science at the center of African health response, bringing together expertise from higher education, research, and industry to develop solutions that reflect the continent's realities and needs.
So Pandemiton is a response to recent medical outbreaks in West Africa of the monkeypox virus. Monkeypox virus causes Mpox disease, which is very disfiguring, very unpleasant. And so we have a technology at my company, AfriVax, that allows us to use ordinary eggs as a platform for making vaccines and other types of medicines that can be used to fight against disease.
For the host institution, the partnership reflects the growing contribution of African universities to health, building systems, skills, and innovation pathways that can strengthen Africans' preparedness for future outbreaks.
Nnamdi Azikiwe University is partnering and with AfriVax and is ready to bring that human resources that is needed for it, and then other resources. Of course, that is why we are giving you the facilities we have here that for this first workshop here in Nigeria. And we are ready to also give other resources as you come.
The team also paid a courtesy call on the Vice-Chancellor of the university, who commended the initiative and pledged full support towards the development of safe, effective, and globally accepted vaccines against Mpox. The final session is scheduled to take place on 4th June 2026 at AfriVax Ghana in Accra, where the data and outcomes from the ongoing process are expected to be presented. The initiative continues to highlight the role of African scientists and higher education institutions in shaping locally relevant health solutions for the continent.
Stick with us for Discovery News after the break. Hello Africa is your live breakfast show delivering informative, entertaining, and energizing start to your day.
Our expert reviews break down the headlines and help you make sense of today's news.
We bring you nothing but the most interesting highlights on our top African stories.
Plus lifestyle features, inspiring interviews, and the best on the continent.
Every episode is packed with stories that inform, inspire, and celebrate the spirit of the continent.
Catch us live every Monday at 9 a.m.
And be part of the conversation on our social media platforms.
Hello Africa, bringing the continent to your morning.
Welcome back from the break, and now to our discovery story. Rwanda's Ministry of ICT and Innovation has begun consultations with device importers as part of plans to phase out 2G and 3G devices. The discussion, led by Minister Paula Ingabire, is taking place in Rwanda as the country prepares for the next phase of its digital transition. The move aims to improve service quality, expand access to modern technology, and ensure citizen and industry players are ready for more advanced digital services. The transition will be implemented gradually to support inclusivity and strengthen Rwanda's digital ecosystem.
The Ministry of ICT and Innovation has held discussions with device importers to prepare for the gradual transition away from 2G and 3G devices. The meeting, led by the sector minister, brought together key industry stakeholders to explore how the shift can be implemented in a practical and inclusive way. Officials indicated that the engagement is aimed at ensuring both businesses and citizens are adequately prepared for the transition to more advanced mobile technologies. The ministry also highlighted the importance of expanding access to modern devices that support enhanced digital services. This, they say, will allow more people to fully benefit from the country's growing digital economy. Authorities explained that phasing out older networks is part of broader efforts to strengthen Rwanda's digital ecosystem. The transition is expected to improve service quality and support the adoption of more efficient and future-ready technologies. Stakeholders are working together to ensure the process is gradual and does not exclude vulnerable users who may still rely on older devices. The move positions Rwanda among countries accelerating the shift toward advanced connectivity as digital services continue to play a central role in economic growth and innovation.
In sports, the Ghana Football Association has dismissed head coach Otto Addo following Ghana's 2-1 loss to Germany, intensifying concerns over the Black Stars' readiness for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The decision comes amid a poor run of form, including 4 consecutive defeats and a heavy loss to Austria, leaving the Ghana national football team without a head coach less than 100 days to the tournament. While Otto Addo successfully led Ghana through an unbeaten World Cup qualification campaign, his overall tenure has been marred by inconsistency, technical consent and failure to qualify for 2025 African Cup of Nations. The GFA says plans are underway to appoint a new head coach as Ghana prepares to face Panama, England and Croatia in a challenging World Cup.
The Ghana Football Association confirmed the decision in the early hours of Tuesday, 31st March, just hours after the Black Stars suffered a 2-1 defeat to Germany in an international friendly in Stuttgart. The loss marked Ghana's fourth consecutive defeat, capping off a worrying run of form that has raised serious concerns about the team's direction and competitiveness. Addo's dismissal comes at a critical moment, with fewer than 100 days remaining before the World Cup kicks off in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. The Black Stars are now without a head coach at a time when stability, tactical clarity, and team cohesion are expected to be at their peak. Despite guiding Ghana through an impressive unbeaten World Cup qualification campaign, with 6 wins and 1 draw, Addo's broader record has struggled to inspire confidence. Since March 2024, he has overseen 22 matches, managing 8 wins, 5 draws, and 9 defeats, a run that has drawn increasing criticism from fans, analysts, and former players. Ghana's failure to qualify for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations, their first absence in nearly 2 decades, further intensified pressure on the technical team and raised questions about leadership and long-term direction. Recent performances have particularly highlighted tactical and structural weaknesses. A heavy 5-1 defeat to Austria exposed a lack of defensive organization and midfield control, with the team appearing both physically and tactically outmatched. Although the performance against Germany showed slight improvement, the result ultimately reinforced concerns that the Black Stars remain in a work in progress with little margin for error. Critics have also questioned Addo's approach to squad management, pointing to frequent changes, late experimentation, and an apparent lack of a clear playing identity. The Ghana Football Association had earlier expanded the technical team to strengthen performance, but the expected results did not materialize consistently. Otto Addo leaves his role after 746 days in charge during his second stint, with a legacy that remains sharply divided, praised for securing World Cup qualification, but criticized for failing to build a cohesive and competitive side. Attention now turns to the Ghana Football Association, which faces the urgent task of appointing a new head coach capable of restoring confidence and guiding the team through a demanding World Cup campaign.
In entertainment, Ghanaian music star Black Sharif has released his first single of 2026 titled Pop Star. The track, produced by Joker Nana, was released globally under RBA and Empire. The release follows the success of his sophomore album Iron Boy, which performed strongly on international charts and streaming platforms. The new single highlights his evolving sound while reflecting his journey in the music industry. The release also signals a start for a new phase in his career, with more projects and performances expected this year.
Ghanaian music star Black Sharif has officially released his first single of 2026, titled Pop Star. The track, produced by Joker Nana, follows the global success of his sophomore album, Iron Boy, which gained widespread recognition across streaming platforms and international charts. With this latest release, the award-winning artist explores a new sound while maintaining the authenticity that has defined his music and connected with audiences worldwide. The song reflects the realities of rise and fame, highlighting both the pressures of stardom and the determination that continues to drive his career. His previous album, Iron Boy, achieved major milestones, including charting on global platforms and setting records as one of the most streamed Ghanaian projects upon release. Beyond the charts, Black Sharif also delivered a highly successful international tour, selling out venues across North America and Europe. The tour concluded in Accra with his annual homecoming concert, which drew tens of thousands of fans and reaffirmed his strong local and global appeal. Speaking about the new single, the artist explained that the song represents a return to his original vision as both a musician and an entertainer, while reflecting on his personal journey. Since his breakthrough onto the global stage, Black Sharif has built a reputation for blending multiple genres into a distinct sound that resonates across borders. With Pop Star, he continues to push his artistry forward, as fans anticipate more music and performances in what is expected to be a defining year for the Ghanaian star.
In business, global fresh data from the U.S. Census Bureau and the Bureau of Economic Analysis shows that Nigeria's crude oil exports to the United States dropped sharply in January 2026. The decline, which followed a month-on-month comparison with December 2025, occurred as overall U.S. oil demand slowed and other African producers increased their supply. The drop was driven by a shifting global demand, pricing dynamics and competition, leading to reduced volumes, lower export value, and shrinking share of the U.S. crude market for Nigeria. New data from U.S. authorities show crude oil import fell by over 47%, dropping from more than 3 million barrels in December to just over 1.6 million barrels in January. The value of those exports also declined significantly, reflecting reduced demand and weaker trade flows between the two countries. Overall, U.S. crude import dropped slightly during the same period, pointing to a broader slowdown in global oil demand. However, within Africa, competition intensified. Angola recorded a major increase in exports to the United States, while Ghana emerged as new supplier after recording no exports the previous month. Nigeria's share of the U.S. crude oil market fell sharply, highlighting how quickly global oil trade dynamics can shift due to pricing, logistics, and refinery demand. Despite crude oil remaining Nigeria's dominant export to the United States, its overall contribution declined as total trade volumes dropped. At the same time, the United States expanded its trade surplus with Nigeria, driven by a significant rise in American export. Across the continent, the U.S. also recorded a trade deficit with Africa as imports increased while exports slightly declined. An economic expert explained that Nigeria's trade relationship with the United States is not only highly strategic and may not significantly impact the country's economy in the short term. The experts further noted that structural issues, including heavy reliance on crude oil export and limited diversification, remain key challenges. He added that travel restrictions affecting business interactions could pose a more serious long-term constraint than tariffs. The latest figures present a complex outlook for Nigeria, with rising oil output at home but declining demand from a key international market. As global energy trends continue to evolve, the country faces increasing pressure to diversify its exports and strengthen its position in the global market. A Russian oil tanker carrying crude entered Cuban waters in late March 2026, marking the first shipment to the island in months. The delivery is taking place off Cuba's coast and is expected to dock at Matanzas terminal. The shipment comes as the United States signals a possible easing of its fuel blockade, allowing countries like Russia to supply oil. The move is driven by Cuba's worsening energy crisis with widespread blackouts and fuel shortages. The tanker is delivering what has been described as humanitarian oil support, offering temporary relief to the island.
A Russian oil tanker has entered Cuban waters, delivering much-needed fuel to the island amid a deepening energy crisis. The vessel, carrying thousands of tons of crude oil, is the first shipment to reach Cuba in several months. The delivery comes as the United States signals a shift in its stance, indicating that it does not object to countries supplying oil to Cuba. This follows months of restricted fuel supply, which contributed to widespread power outages and disruptions across the island. Russian officials have described the shipment as humanitarian support aimed at helping Cuba cope with severe shortages. Authorities say the oil is expected to provide short-term relief as the country struggles to maintain electricity and essential services. Cuba's energy crisis has worsened in recent months following the disruption of key oil supplies and ongoing economic challenges. Health officials have also raised concerns, warning that fuel shortages are affecting critical services, including hospital operations. Meanwhile, the latest development highlights shifting geopolitical dynamics as Russia strengthens its support for Cuba amid continued U.S. pressure. The U.S. president indicated that allowing oil deliveries is necessary for humanitarian reasons, noting that Cuba needs to survive despite ongoing tensions. However, it remains unclear whether this signals a long-term policy change or a temporary adjustment. The tanker is expected to offload its cargo at the Matanzas terminal, providing a crucial lifeline to the island's struggling energy sector. Even so, analysts say that relief may only be temporary as Cuba continues to face deeper economic and structural challenges.
Now, thank you for staying with us, and we'll take a quick look at our top stories. In higher education, Kumasi Technical University hosts German university leaders to boost academic ties. In health, Pandemic-Torn 2026 sparks new hope for African-led vaccines. In business, Nigeria's crude export to U.S. plunged as rivals gain market share. International Russian oil tanker reaches Cuba amid easing U.S. stance. Thanks for sticking with us on the AAU TV Midweek News. You can also follow us on our various social media platforms, Association of African Universities on Facebook and YouTube. My name is Chimaima Deladem Doche. Have a lovely day.